been director and head for minimal invasive surgery in ART in Paras Hospital, Gurugram. That she's one of the great surgeons the country has produced. Welcome, Dr. Alka. We are all eagerly waiting to listen from you. A topic which is very complex, a very common, and it needs a lot of understanding. And your insight would really help all of us. Welcome, Dr.
Very basic topic, and I'm really loving to share what information and new information I have on this topic, because it is a concern to in general gynae practice to many patients. So this is a very common condition, vulvovaginal candidiasis. We all know it is an infectious disease of female genital tract. And how a patient with VVC, vulvovaginal candidiasis presents, is they may not have any symptoms, or they may have symptoms. Symptoms may be mild. Symptoms may be severe, that it presents in emergency, like with soreness of vulva, severe itching, and she is not able to. Whole spectrum from asymptomatic to very severe symptoms is there. And this is a very common problem. In fact, you see, when you go into the literature and you sit in the community and do practice, every alternate patient comes with vaginal discharge, and 75% of women must have suffered in their lifetime from this vulvovaginal candidiasis. Asymptomatic has been reported again very commonly. In my experience, what happens when somebody's resistance goes down, then this asymptomatic becomes symptomatic when the immunity is low, or when the pregnancy is there, or the patient is diabetic. So these are the conditions when it gets aggravated. And these are the statistics showing that the condition is very common in the community. Now, why people get VVC, vulvovaginal candidiasis? It is an organism of Candida species that is fungal, and 90% of time it is Candida albicans. And once there is disturbance of balance between Candida's vaginal colonization and the host environment, you see immediately after the periods, when the patient is under stress, when they are anemic, they are diabetic, they are pregnant. So whenever their resistance is compromised, this Candida infection takes over and becomes symptomatic. Otherwise, 10 to 30% of the asymptomatic females are found to harbor this organism in the vagina without any infection. And recurrent cases are, the reason may be familial, may be coexistent dermatological disease, immunosuppressed patients, HIV, and on HRT. And sex life is an infectious life. So naturally, it is very common in very sexually active and with different sexual practices. So in nutshell, the reasons why it is common are host related, like pregnancy, obesity, patients on HRT, uncontrolled diabetics, immunosuppressed patients on steroids, and behavioral, like use of OCPs, IUCDs, use of spermicides, and hygiene issues, etc. So next issue is, what exactly is the organism? As I said, 85 to 90% it is Candida albicans, but number of times we have conducted studies, especially in resistant cases, it is Candida glabrata. And rarely there are other Candida species which are responsible for this candidiasis. Now, after discussing it's a very common problem, which patients are high risk, and what is the organism, now we come to management. So management, we all are, faced with clinical situations where patients come with these fungal infections. So they present variedly. Acute vulvovaginal candidiasis, these cases can be successfully treated with antifungal agents, and sometimes recurrent infection infections are resistant infections, which patients are really bothered, and then we have to give long-term therapy. So antifungal drugs, how these antifungal drugs act, clinicians are not very much bothered. Just to recapitulate, they change the permeability of the fungal cell membrane, so the fungus cells gets destroyed, lysed, or killed, and these different drugs have different mechanisms, which we will just be discussing in few minutes. So there are drugs, and we all know there are different generation of antifungal drugs. Fluconazole is a bistriazole antifungal agent which acts by blocking or killing the fungi by competitively inhibiting the synthesis of ergosterol, which is in their cell membrane. So basically, destruction of the cell membrane and the fungus by these drugs leads to cure or remission. Fluconazole has excellent pharmacokinetic properties. It is broad spectrum antifungal. It has very low hepatotoxicity. When the drug was introduced, there was a lot of apprehension, but long-term data has shown hardly any hepatotoxicity. It has good oral absorption, high bioavailability, and has significant effect on deep fungal infections. And it is considered the first choice in the treatment of systemic fungal infection by WHO. So now we are in the evidence-based era, so we have to have evidence once we make any statement. So there are a number of studies showing efficacy of fluconazole in treatment of vulvovaginal candidiasis. This is a phase 3 study where they compared single dose of 150 milligram is advised in 157 patients, and then it was compared with the local vaginal tablets, and efficacy was found to be similar with local as well as by just single dose fluconazole tablet. And this is the outcome of that study. Outcome is reported like cure or improvement, and eradication. Eradication is something like at the end of 4 weeks, they took the swabs. So as I said, normally flora may be in the vagina, but patient may be asymptomatic. So it is cure, but it is not eradication. So single dose fluconazole was found to lead to more than 80% cure, more than 90% improvement, and 85% eradication of this fungus from the vagina. Quite impressive. Another study, again they compared 3 arms. One arm was given oral, the other arm was given for a single dose, other arm was given 6 days, and the third arm was given local. And let us see what are the results. So clinical effectiveness were 92%, 80%. So all were found to be effective, more or less to the same. But the single dose oral has the advantage that you don't have to put vaginal tablets, especially on Indian patients. They just hate to handle their genitalia, and it is a messy business. So single dose is as effective as local therapy. So this study suggests that oral fluconazole is effective as single dose and might be a good choice in treatment of vaginal candidiasis. Another study by Shekhawat, Indian study, has also shown fluconazole to be equally efficacious. Now, when we go to society recommendations, according to American and European guidelines, fluconazole 150 milligram should be used in moderate to severe VVC as single dose. And according to Infectious Disease Society of America, same recommendation. A single 150 milligram oral dose is recommended for treatment of uncomplicated, but we all know and we all senior people keep getting patients who have recurrent episodes. They are fed up with recurrent. What you call is recurrence is more than 4 episodes in a year. So in those situations, fluconazole can be given in repetitive dosages. So if there is a severe attack, 150 milligram every 72 hours in a total of 2 to 3 dosages is recommended. And if somebody has recurrent, like more than 4 attacks in a year, you treat her, she becomes all right, she's all right for a month or 2. Again, she comes back with the symptoms. In these patients, you have to give long-term therapy. So as high long-term as fluconazole, 150 milligram weekly for 6 months have been advised. Usually, we do not give such a long-time therapy, and we give to our patients for weekly as for a month. Now comes the further advancement in medicines. Now we have itraconazole. We all know it was introduced with a bang. So itraconazole is further advancement, further a newer antifungal agent, which is available to all of us. Even in my practice, I have been using it for quite some time in resistant cases of candida infection. So itraconazole has shown excellent in vivo activity against candida albicans. It's very well absorbed following oral administration. And mind it is available as oral tablets, which we have been using. And patients are happy using oral medications, majority of patients. And a study showed that in comparison to placebo, oral itraconazole seems to reduce persistent symptoms at 1 week of therapy. So again, there are studies, large studies showing efficacy of itraconazole and in the management of candida infections. So this is a study, prospective randomized, single-blinded, multi-center. 21 women were evaluated and they were given itraconazole for acute candidal vulvovaginitis, and it compared 1-day course of itraconazole to vaginal clotrimazole, which till now was the standard of therapy, and see the results. They found again itraconazole to be equally and non-inferiority, and it was found to be quite effective, especially in resistant cases. If your patient is resistant to fluconazole, itraconazole comes as the next option. And there is no evidence of hepatotoxicity with itraconazole also. So they concluded that 1-day course of oral itraconazole 200 milligram is as effective as intravaginal clotrimazole in the treatment of acute vulvovaginitis. It is as effective alternate to vaginal. And once the vaginal, the candida is resistant to vaginal, giving these oral medications, especially these newer ones, may help in high rate of cure in our patients. So after discussing this fluconazole and itraconazole, now the next is, we all have been treating these patients. What is the role of probiotics? It's very common in our prescription. We write vaginal tablet. In severe resistant cases, we give vaginal tablet as well as oral, because we want our patient to get cured fast, to relieve her of her distressing symptoms. So now the next question is, what is the role of giving probiotics, which we all are, so many companies are marketing, and we all gynecologists are writing, and some are really very expensive. So what is the evidence that you prescribe probiotics in patients of vaginitis? What are probiotics? They are living microorganisms in appropriate amounts are beneficial to health of host. This is a statement. And studies have evaluated the effectiveness of probiotic in preventing recurrent vulvovaginal infection, but these studies have shown colleagues conflicting results. I myself was, instrumental in conducting initial trials with probiotic with Dr. Talwar, who was, instrumental in bringing these neem and these preparations for vaginal, and these probiotics were evaluated. So what is the current evidence with all the literature? In a big review by Falagas and colleagues, they concluded that probiotics did not prove the effectiveness of lactobacilli or increasing the resistance of the vagina. Then came this Croatian, it is a single study which showed some benefit. But the crux of the matter I have understood is, these probiotics on your study, on your, doing the cultures, they show the concentration of lactobacillus to be more, or good flora in the vagina to be more. But when it comes to reducing the rate of recurrence or reducing colonization with candida, they have failed to show efficacy. So how much they are of importance in clinical situation, for a clinician to write, you want your patient to become all right, it is a question mark. Another study analyzed the effect of adding probiotic to itraconazole in management of patient with recurrent VVC, and local lactobacilli were added for 6 days to monthly with the itraconazole maintenance therapy. These things are usually required when the patient has, long-term recurrences. She's fed up of these recurrent infections. Otherwise, single infection, single dose, it's okay. So they reported that lactobacilli did not offer any advantage to treating these patient population. I will again repeat the statement that some of the studies have shown that the lactobacilli concentration has become better. Colonization in the vagina of good bacteria has become better, but it has failed to show that it is, clinical efficacy of adding probiotic in symptomatic relief in these patients. So whenever we are prescribing, we should remember this crux of literature. So to recapitulate, treatment of uncomplicated, complicated, and recurrent. So there are 3 groups. Uncomplicated, which is very simple. So what do you do in uncomplicated vulvovaginal candidiasis? Just either short-term local therapy or a single dose of 150 milligram of fluconazole is effective in eradicating 90% of uncomplicated cases. Then comes complicated, and what complicated means, like they are coming again, their infection is not irrigated, they require prolonged treatment. So what should be your prescription? Oral fluconazole 150 milligram given 3 times with a gap of 72 hours, or local azoles applied daily concomitantly for 1 week. That is what we are doing in these cases, giving vaginal tablets also and giving them fluconazole. A very popular prescription at All India Institute used to be give the partner pair, including 150 milligrams fluconazole along with vaginal tablets 6 days, and then weekly for 1 month. But there are different people with different regimens, with different outcome results, more or less the same. So here it is prescribed a gap of 72 hours, means every 3 days for a week. Then an American study assessed effectiveness of fluconazole maintenance therapy, and they studied 387 patients. What did they do? After initial treatment with 150 milligram dose, they gave every 72 hours. So the first group received weekly dosages for 6 months. Second group received weekly placebo for 6 months. And see what is the result. After 6 months of maintenance therapy with fluconazole compared to placebo, 90% relief was in the group where fluconazole was given, and only 35% where placebo was given. So the results are statistically significantly better with fluconazole for long-term suppressive therapy. The time to recurrence is also statistically shorter in placebo group compared to fluconazole group, proving the efficacy of fluconazole in long-term suppression of candida recurrence and eradication. And there is no proof in the literature of superinfection because patients fear, our colleagues fear, you give fluconazole therapy for long period of time, whether there will be added superinfection. Either with fluconazole or with itraconazole, there are studies have failed to show any occurrence of superinfection even with long-term dosages. And this is what, it's a very popular study comparing with the placebo, and see the fluconazole long-term maintenance has 90% cure vis-a-vis with the placebo only 35%. So in recurrent VVC, patients with recurrent candidal vulvovaginitis may benefit from suppressive therapy with oral fluconazole 150 milligram weekly for 6 months. This is the result of these previous studies. Now comes if there is resistance, or now we have advanced version itraconazole, which is available to majority of us, also appears to be an attractive therapeutic agent for recurrent VVC. A prospective studies involving 150 patients compared, one group was given homeopathy, the other group was given itraconazole, and 90% of patients treated with itraconazole had no candida on vaginal culture detected, and with the homeopathy group 47%. So statistically significantly better results are there compared to placebo, compared to homeopathy, that fluconazole and itraconazole oral therapy is much more effective. This table I have made because we are told not to bring, pharmaceuticals name. But colleagues, when you talk of your friends, they really want to know what should be their prescription. So even if you have not concentrated on my talk for the last 30 minutes I have been speaking, in 5 minutes, the crux of the prescriptions is, if you have a patient who is suffering from candidiasis, which you can make out with the cheesy appearance, red frothy discharge, and she has vulvar soreness, or she has itching, she has urinary complaints, she comes to you. So what should you do? Suppose it is the first attack, it is an acute vulvovaginal candidiasis. Your prescription can be just a single dose of fluconazole, 150 milligram, and so many companies are marketing, and it is available freely in our country. If you want to give topical, which in the previous years we all have been using, it is also a good idea. So clotrimazole is the preparation, and different dosages are given with advice with different frequency. So if your tablet is 50 milligram or 100 milligram, you give for 6 days. If it is 500 milligram, you can give that pessary a single dose. I think it becomes much more patient friendly if she does not have to insert it daily for 6 nights or a single dose. That is the reason, if a single oral dose works, then why she will have this messy business of vaginal thing and keeping it so long. So if you give a single dose, you have to give higher dose. If you are giving in 100 or 200 milligram, then it is more frequently, depending on how much is the concentration of the drug in the pessary. Single dose for 3 nights or for 6 nights is usually prescribed. Then comes alternative regimen. Suppose your patient is resistant to either local or single dose or the combination. Then what are the alternates you have? You have availability of vaginal cream. Suppose you give vaginal tablet and you don't give vulvar cream, often the infection will come back from the vulva to vagina. So give a complete treatment. Vulvar cream is also important. Then clotrimazole, pessary, as I said, depending on dose of the drug in the pessary, 3 nights, 6 nights is advised. Fenticonazole is another one advanced antifungal agent which is available to us, and very popular is 600 milligram single dose, but we all are giving it 600 milligram single dose, repeating it after 48 to 72 hours to increase the rate of or decrease the risk of recurrence and increasing eradication. So fenticonazole in a resistant case is a good idea. Then nowadays, recently, I have also shifted to itraconazole. If a patient is resistant to fluconazole, the advanced version is itraconazole. It is not available as local. It is available as oral. Fenticonazole is not available as oral. It is available only vaginal tablet. So please remember that. And itraconazole 200 milligram tablet comes in the market. Either you give BD for 1 day, or there are different regimens. If your patient is resistant and she has frequent attacks, then you have to give it for a long time. Then this miconazole, which majority of us are not using because it is availability is restricted, and mostly patients respond to these above regimens. Then comes the second category, severe vulvovaginal candidiasis. So what is the regimen? Again, single dose fluconazole or clotrimazole for longer period, or miconazole. Then this is the real area where we clinicians often face patients running from pillar to post. Good olden days, we were, painting their vagina with GV paint, which was really effective. Nowadays, it's with difficulty it is available. So recurrent vulvovaginal candidiasis, again, long-term fluconazole, first therapeutic, then maintenance therapy, orally 150 milligram tablet every week for 1 month to 6 months. Studies have, these are the evidences, 1A evidence, and this is not table made by me. This table is by guidelines issued by British Association of Sexual Health and HIV National Guideline. Just last year, in the year 2019, they have issued these guidelines. So they have said that in a case of recurrent, you can give it weekly for 6 months, and the alternate regimens for induction, topical imidazole therapy for 7 to 14 days, and maintenance therapy for 6 months. Either a pessary, which is given weekly for 6 months, or itraconazole 50 to 100 milligram orally daily for long term. And these are the brand names because of our MCI issues. I will not, but these are the, I have brought to you all the preparations so that any colleague who really just want to refine their knowledge, this itraconazole is available, fluconazole is available. So many companies are marketing, and so many other drugs. Recent indications are there, applications which will really alleviate this recurrent and this nagging problem from your patient's life. Then there are few other things. If your patient is resistant to all that I have discussed, and even in my practice, patients comes, Dr. Sahab, I am suffering, you gave me prescription, after a month again it is nystatin pessaries, nystatin cream. And one word I would like to say, boric acid. My dear colleague Ramani did a wonderful webinar on vaginal infections. Nobody attends these webinars thinking that we all know everything about it. But I think these recent advances in these areas needs to be propagated because so many patients will be benefited. Boric acid vaginal suppositories in resistant cases of vaginitis is a good option. They are 600 milligram for 14 days. They are not easily available in India. Some patients I have advised in the Amazon they get Nutrablast name, and Amazon they deliver it. In the India, I have come to know Intas is making it, but I have called upon them, but I am also not able to give my prescription which is available in India presently. And these suppositories are amphotericin B. Again, these suppositories are also available. These are for resistant cases who are not responding to your routine and what all we discuss society guidelines. These are cases who are very resistant, not getting cured, or having very nagging recurrent problem of vaginal infections. And this is very important. Even I learned, I thank people who give me so many webinars, so I have to really read under compulsion. And this is in my heart. There are so many diseases which are nowadays, we are in so much pollution and it leads to lower resistance. It may lead to itching, and candida may be secondary inhabitant over the itching and raw vagina. So some evidence is coming that giving patient anti-allergic cetirizine 10 milligram OD for 6 months, or Zafir Lucas, this is like Montelukast 20 milligram orally BD for 6 months, may be considered as maintenance prophylaxis in very resistant cases of vulvovaginal candidiasis. Then there are so many practices going on. Colleagues ask us whether they have a role. Patients ask us, they go to Google, Mr. Google, study so many things, and I have seen they change their diet like anything, they torture themselves thinking, but there is insufficient evidence or no benefit, no evidence of benefit to say whether along with your prescription, probiotic will be of help, or yogurt will be of help, or dietary modification will be of help, or oral garlic and so many prescriptions, homeopathy and all, they do not show, at least scientific evidence is not there of their efficacy in eradicating or treating these fungal infections. But what we all know, immunity is very important. Immunity, actually these organisms are present in many of the patients, but when the immunity of the host goes down, like she's pregnant, she's anemic, she's diabetic, they, these fungus, it takes over and it leads to symptomatic infection. So it is very important to eradicate anemia, to control diabetes, to have good sexual practices, and to practice good hygiene if we want to reduce incidence of vulvovaginal infections. So the takeaway message is VVC is a frequently encountered problem by all us clinicians and gynecologists. Most cases are because of Candida albicans, some are glabrata, and some are rare. We did studies in All India Institute, but I don't think for a routine clinical practice it matters. We have to have first line, second line, and third line drugs. Fluconazole appears to be one of the best drugs for treatment of VVC. For simple vulvovaginal candidiasis, 150 milligrams single dose oral is a good prescription. Besides, now, as I said, we have also imbibed itraconazole has also shown good efficacy in the management of patients, especially who are resistant. Patients come to you who have gone pillar to post, kept all kind of vaginal tablets, have taken oral drugs, and still they are suffering from VVC. In these patients, itraconazole is a good prescription. And these are the references. And thank you very much for being with me. And